What's up, sports bettors? My name is Matt Modi. I'm a content producer and full-time betting analyst for OddsJam.com. In this video, I'm going to answer the very simple sports betting question of how do I find a good bet? How to find winning bets? Pretty much, we're asking how to make money betting on sports. That is the question I'm going to answer today. Of course, before I get started, would appreciate if you could like and comment on the video. Just want to make sure that this is the type of content that you're actually enjoying. So let me know what you think of the video in the comments. And then, of course, if you could subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel, would be very appreciative of that as well. So let's get into it. So as I mentioned before, my full-time role is as a betting analyst for OddsJam. I've also been sports betting for a couple years. I've been tracking my bets officially since September of 2021. And as you see on the screen here, I have about almost 11K in total profit. Also, as you can see on the screen here, with about 6.5% ROI. Now, obviously, the main thing to understand when you're betting on sports is you're not going to be rich overnight. And you're not going to make money every single night, every single week, sometimes every single month betting on sports. But if you can consistently identify good bets to make, you're being smart about it, you're finding winning bets and you're being consistent with it, then you will be profitable in the long run. You just have to accept some variance. Now that last part, accepting variance, is incredibly important. And one thing that I want to preface that before you go into finding good bets to make, the number one thing you need to be doing is tracking your bets. Those screenshots I provided earlier, I get because I track all my bets. I know what my total profit is. I know what my ROI is. So tracking your bets is incredibly important. Now, understanding variance, also incredibly important. As you see on the screenshot here, that is a graph of my profit over time. Now you see significantly more up weeks than down weeks. You also see the most recent week is pretty far down. My worst week by far betting on sports overall. Total profit went from 12.5K down to 10.9. ROI was actually at 8%, down to 6.5. Now nothing changed with my strategy in that week. I just had a terrible week. If I wasn't tracking my bets, I wouldn't know that I've still been incredibly profitable in the long run, and that one bad week shouldn't change your entire strategy if you have months and months of data backing up it being a good strategy. So understanding that variance happens with sports betting is incredibly important, and everybody needs to understand that. And that's why tracking your bets is just equally as important, because you can see if you are profitable in the long run. If you're not, you can dig into that and see what's going on. And if you are, you'll be able to accept bad days or bad weeks because you can see everything in front of you. So I figured the easiest way to tell you how to be a profitable sports bettor and how to find good bets is just to show you. So what I have up here is the OddsJam positive expected value page. Now, if this is a page that you are unfamiliar with, what I would recommend doing is signing up for a free trial on the OddsJam website. It's completely free. That is what free means. It doesn't cost any money. The trial is for 7 days. And in that 7-day free trial, you can schedule a call with myself or another sharp, profitable sports bettor, someone that's made a ton of money betting on sports. You can schedule a call with us one-on-one, and we can show you everything you need to know, about the OddsJam positive expected value page, or just answer any questions you have about sports betting. You don't need to be on a plan or on a trial to schedule a call. We still want to talk to you. But this OddsJam positive expected value page, this is the bread and butter of how to go about finding profitable sports bets. Now, the screenshots I showed you earlier were taken from the OddsJam bet tracker. This is pulled all from my dashboard, and these are pulled from the actual bet tracker that tracks all your bets. So luckily, finding good bets and tracking good bets you can all do on one platform, and that's why I love using OddsJam to make money betting on sports. Now, to give a brief tutorial and to highlight what exactly positive expected value betting is and why it's so valuable, which I'll do now. So this OddsJam line you see here, this is pulled from the sharpest bookmaker in the world, the most accurate bookmaker in the world. These lines that you see under the OddsJam column, these are going to be the true line of how a line should be priced. So if the OddsJam line has something priced at minus 120, those are going to be the most accurate odds. For this example we see on the screen here, OddsJam prices it at minus 109. This is what the true line of this bet is. Now, before we can do anything, we need to understand what the no vig fair odds are for the OddsJam line. If you're unfamiliar with what the vig is, it's essentially the juice that sportsbooks price odds themselves. Sportsbooks are essentially, you can be viewed as the stock market. The more money comes in, odds change one way, they change the opposite way for the other team. The stock market, just the same way. Money comes in, stock price goes up. But the way sportsbooks specifically make money, they don't charge a transaction fee or anything like that. Instead, what they do is they just juice up the odds a little bit. So in this case, minus 103, minus 109, the true odds of that are actually minus 102. Sportsbooks, what they do is they juice up the odds a little bit. They price up the odds higher than what they should be. And then they can accept equal money, equal bets on both sides. And no matter what, they'll be profitable. So it's important to remove the vig and find out what the true odds are of a play. Another thing that's important is to see what the percent chance of that bet winning is compared to the no vig odds. One little secret that I like a lot about sports betting is that whenever sportsbooks price odds, all they're doing is associating a win percentage to that play. And then they just back those out into pricing odds. So for this example, let's just call it minus 103. You go to the OddsJam bet converter calculator, you type in minus 103, you see this bet has a 50% chance of occurring. Now, the odds that we are betting it at on PointsBet at plus 110 has an inherently lower win percentage. So if we type it into the same bet converter calculator, plus 110, the odds we're betting it at has a win percentage of roughly 47.5%, 47.6%. So essentially, positive expected value betting, how it works is we are betting on something that we think has a more favorable chance of occurring than the odds we're actually betting it at. So for this specific example, we are betting, it looks like it's the under for the Astros versus Guardians. Under 8 runs, we think that this bet has about over 50% chance of hitting. We think the true odds for this bet should be minus 102. Using PointsBet, we can get this at plus 110 odds, which only has a 47% win percentage associated. So basically, to summarize, positive expected value betting is placing bets in which we are getting more favorable odds than what the market should be priced at. More favorable odds than the true line. This percentage you see here, that's just a wider gap between the OddsJam line and the odds we're betting it at. The wider the gap is, the higher this percentage is going to be. This percent can be viewed as your profit margin percent. So for every $100 bet on this specific outcome, you should figure to make roughly $6.45. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but in the long run, a return of over 5%, over 6% is incredibly valuable, especially because we're only doing this on one specific bet. Obviously, when you're betting the stock market, you rarely see returns that high, and you never see returns that high on one night of one bet. With that said, that doesn't mean that every single bet here is going to be a bet that should be wagered on and should be wagered on an equal amount. There's a couple things to look for before deciding whether a bet is valuable or not. Number one is this column you see here, width. Now, market width is essentially a way in which we can determine confidence in the OddsJam line. Luckily, the OddsJam positive expected value page calculates the width for you. But if you wanted to learn how to calculate it, for two minuses like you see here, all you do is just add the last two numbers together. 9 plus 3 equals 12. On the other side, for a plus and a minus, you just subtract the two numbers together. 130 minus 117 equals 17. This bet has 17 cents in market width. Now, like I said, market width is essentially a way in we can get confidence in the OddsJam line, and the smaller numbers, the better. So anything above 25 cents is not something that should be bet as much as something below 25 cents. So the answer to the question of how to identify good bets to place, you look at the market width. The lower number, the better. Like I said, anything under 25 is going to be going to be fair play. Anything under 15 is going to be an incredibly valuable market. So if I refresh this page, we see a bunch of different options here. But this first option, under 8 runs in this Astros versus Cleveland Guardians game, 12 cents in market width, we're getting at plus 110 odds on PointsBet. That's a really valuable bet. And as we can see on the screen here, there are a bunch of different scenarios in which we are getting very valuable bets. Here's another one that's below 15 cents. Yankees versus Orioles, first half runs under 3.5. Here we have a hockey one, St. Louis Blues money line, 14 cents in market width. These are all incredibly valuable bets to make, and we see there's a lot of them. Now, market width is very important to look at when deciding whether you should take a bet or not. Another thing that's incredibly important to do is to look into the markets themselves. The way you can do that on this OddsJam positive EV page, you just right click, open in a new tab, and what happens is it pulls up what every other sportsbook is pricing this market at. So the play was under 8 runs plus 110 on PointsBet. Knowing where every market prices this, we see an incredible value on this play. PointsBet has this priced at plus 110, which we know has roughly 47.6% win percentage associated with it. Using this OddsJam odds page, every other book has this priced at the closest minus 112. This tells me that we are getting insane value getting it on PointsBet under 8 at plus 110 odds. This is insane value. Again, we are looking for pricing discrepancies. We are looking for outliers. If I'm just thinking about this rationally, the most likely scenario is that these 7 sports books have this number priced correctly, roughly between minus 115 and minus 120, and PointsBet has it priced incorrectly at plus 110. So I mentioned before that sports betting is essentially like the stock market. And this is one example how we can use that to our advantage. If sportsbooks are changing their odds based on where money comes in. Now, of course, outside influences are going to impact it a little bit, like injuries, weather for outdoor games, stuff like that. At the end of the day, if more money comes in on this over, it's going to be more expensive to buy that over. Same thing with the under. If more money comes in on the over, it's going to become cheaper to buy the under. So what this tells me is PointsBet hasn't received money in the same way all these other sports books have, which makes this a really valuable bet. So how to determine good bets, how to find good bets? There's really only 2 ways to go about it. It's very easy. You look for the market width, then you click into the market, you see what every sportsbook is pricing it, and you find true outliers, you find true discrepancies. If you can do that, you can easily make money betting on sports. You could make over 10 grand, you could have over 5%, over 6%, over 7% ROI if you're doing these things. You just need to have a tool like OddsJam. So again, sign up for a free trial, schedule a call with me, schedule a call with any of our other sports betting experts. We can teach you everything you need to know about how to make money betting on sports, and which means how to find good bets. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, go to the OddsJam Positive EV page, look at the market width, look into the markets themselves, see if we're getting a true outlier. If the answer to both of those questions, if it's tight market width, if it is an outlier, place that bet because you have just found a good bet. You have just found a winning bet. So if you liked this video, again, I mentioned it at the beginning, would appreciate if you could actually click that like button, comment, let me know your feedback that way. Of course, would appreciate if you could subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel. And then if you want to find me individually, you can hit me up. My Twitter handle, you see it on the screen here, Modi_Matt. It's very boring, just my last name _ first name. And then lastly, I mentioned it a bunch of times, but go to the OddsJam website, sign up for a 7-day free trial, schedule a call with me, and I'd be happy to show you how you can also make money betting on sports. But as far as this video goes, that is all I got for you. So thanks for watching and have a good one.